Atlanta Braves spring training is on from Florida. This 2025 Brave squad is ready to get after it in Northport.
And he waylays this thing way downtown. Swung on a fly ball, deep left center field, heading towards the gap, and it's down for a base hit. Acuna hits the bag at third. Here he comes. Michael Harris taking no prisoners. It's a sweep.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone with my friend Brandon Pilcher from Pilcher's Appraisals. Brandon, what exactly do you do?
Steve, I'm an appraiser. I can value a property for you if you're potentially going to sell, and that valuation could also be used to help you with your property taxes.
Thanks, Brandon. Brandon is licensed in Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. You can contact him at 706-936-3766. Call or text.
Sports Talk, 24/7, 365. Your full-time sports station.
You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work.
Is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Doesn't anyone do any work around this joint anymore?
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing. We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Joe Hunk. John Abraham. 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to a Tuesday edition of the Blitz. John Abraham, Cam Cool alongside Joe Hunk. As we get into all the conversations, almost got everything straightened up as we made the shift from talking ball to the Blitz.
We're getting there.
It's always a fun little time.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Just scoot your camera over a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean,
wrong way. You guys can not only hear us over on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, you can also listen to us over on ESPN Winchester. If you're up in Tennessee, of course, love hearing from you guys. As you can also call into the show, 256-576-97.7 is the number to get in. But you can also watch the show over on WZZN TV. Make sure you subscribe to that bad boy, as you get to see me, you get to see Joe Hunk, you get to see Steve. No, you don't get to see Steve Moulton. Occasionally you get to see Steve Moulton. Outside of that, Scott Tyson, Drudy Arvin, of course, they were just on. And if you missed out on any of the shows, you can just go back to those dates. It's all on demand, all on WZZN TV. And as always, the show is presented by the wonderful people over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com. And remember that they show up, and you're probably going to need them if you didn't already, because a little bit of weather. It's going to get interesting.
A little bit of weather.
A little bit of weather.
I like what you say. A little bit of
It's
weather.
getting a little wacky this week, everybody.
No, it sucks is what it's getting. Okay, it does.
It was warm for a second, Joe.
It was warm, and now I'm having to worry about snow and ice, and I'm sitting and thinking to myself, because just letting you know that our version of Jim Cantori is going to be joining us at 10 o'clock, because anytime that Grayson Ello hits 97.7 ESPN The Zone, it is because crap's about to hit the fan. And we really just don't know about if it is going to be something that's going to keep everybody home tomorrow or what.
It's not like we're bringing her on for the views. All right. We're not just doing it because we're going to have all of our dudes to tune in to enjoy the weather talk, all of that. It's it's mainly because it literally is all about the weather. I mean, we need to know. We have been talking with her for quite some time now since the football season, and she's been able to give us all the information we need to know, not about the sports in general, even though she does talk a little bit of sports. Mississippi State did get the dub. She's probably going to be in a little bit of a good mood. But again, there is a lot of weather, and it has affected some of the sports around North Alabama, including some UAH softball that was shifted to today.
Everything has been moved around.
Let's
it is
throw everything out the window. Why not?
No, because everybody's kind of basically saying that tomorrow, it feels like tomorrow is going to be a wash for everything and everybody. So let's just go ahead and punt on Wednesday. And then Thursday and Friday and Saturday, you're kind of back to your normal schedules and everything. So they have moved everything up to today. And so everything that was supposed to start today tomorrow at Toyota Field is now being moved up 24 hours. And I know a lot of teams are prepared for it. I don't know if Alabama A&M is prepared for it. I mean, mainly because are they just going to like put them on the field on the first baseline and be like, and now your opponent is like it's wrestling? Like it's like, hit their music. Let's bring them out. The team you're going to play today. Seriously, like it even says like even the Trash Pandas have this image out that they put on Instagram that has all the games and all it is. It has everybody's opponent. And then for noon today, it just says Alabama A&M game.
Well, it's because they're playing John Cena, Joe.
It is because that's it. They're just going. It's a scrimmage game. I don't know what it is. All right, Ghostman on second. Here we go. I feel bad for them because I hope they know. I assume they know. But it's just fun to see it that way.
Is it like a tournament? Are they playing like the winner of another game?
So what it is, it's a showcase.
Okay.
And so it's all different levels of softball, which is really, really cool for the city of Huntsville because it's not just Division II teams and FCS teams. You're getting obviously 4 SEC teams are in town. You've got James Madison is here. I think La Tech is here. You've got a bunch of different softball teams that are here. And then they're playing throughout the week, not only at Toyota Field, but also at Charger Park at UAH. And then on Monday, it's high school games that are going to be taking place before they have to tear up the entire field and start getting it ready for baseball season.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of different levels of play. And the cool thing about this is, and this is where if you are a softball player, just kind of take note of this, because even those Monday games, there's going to be teams that are coaches that may stay over and watch some of these games. And this is kind of how you get this scouting and everything. And look, I look at showcase events like this all the time as every single game is an audition for a bigger role in a bigger team. Like, if I'm looking at the schedule now, and if you're playing for ETSU and you're playing Ole Miss on Friday, you're not just playing against them. This is also a showcase of saying, hey, look, if I were to enter the transfer portal, like it's not just football that talks about the transfer portal. It's every single sport that can do the transfer portal. So, those teams, La Tech, James Madison, obviously Jack State's going to be there. Miami of Ohio. I mean, I probably left Ohio thinking that they were going to get down here and have some better weather, but it was, it's all of those teams are playing, and it's also an opportunity for you to showcase your skills. Like UAH has North Georgia today. And for people that don't know about North Georgia, they won the national championship like 2 seasons ago.
I had no idea. I haven't been following that that softball lore.
Well, no. I mean, I've just been like keeping up with this because of all the stuff that we do with UAH. But I remember, I played North Georgia, and where they play at is an absolutely beautiful place. Has a backdrop of the mountain and all that. It's an awesome stadium to play in.
It's like a Appalachian State almost.
Very similar because it is kind of up in that area because I think it's Delanahay, if I pronounced that right.
Well, if it is North Georgia, then that's pretty much where Appalachian State is.
So they're playing this softball team where their head coach just left North Georgia to be an assistant coach for the University of Georgia, because he's won 2 national championships, won like 500 games at North Georgia. So, I mean, like, this is a very, very good team. They have players on their team that's like left SEC schools and went to North Georgia.
Wow.
So the UAH has a very good softball team that they're going to be playing here in just a little bit. So Brandon says it's Dahlonega. So yeah, so Dahlonega. So I had that right. So yeah, that is where North Georgia is located, and that's who UAH is playing today at 3:00.
Which is going to be a great challenge. I mean, and this is how you want to kind of start out your season. We've already seen UAH face off against some of their conference opponents, but similar to how Alabama started their out of conference schedule, it was against a lot of challenging opponents. And at the end of the day, it is a showcase. You do always want to get the victory. I mean, this is a competitive UAH team. But at the same time, regardless of if you win or lose, if you get a good challenge out of this team, it's going to help you going forward. And I think that's the biggest thing about this. You want to be in this tournament, especially because you get to play at Toyota Field. And this isn't something that Toyota Field is just like, yeah, we do this all the time. They literally had to rip up the infield just so they can do this. And again, testament to the groundskeepers over there at Toyota Field, because those guys are constantly working. It doesn't matter if it's Trash Panda seasons or not, which, by the way, always looking forward to that, because you'll be able to listen to that on Talk Radio WZZN.
Yes, and as that's going on, I've been trying to also talk to John about purchasing a firehouse.
Yes, in Ohio.
In Ohio.
Miami, Ohio. No,
it's Hamilton, Ohio.
I don't know where that is. Is that close to Columbus?
Right outside of Cincinnati.
Oh,
so there's an article that was coming across as we were sitting there this morning and looking at stuff, and I went, John, look at this. This is a firehouse that's in some town in Ohio, and it's only $100,000, and it's got like 3 or 4 bedrooms, and it's got a fire pole. Like,
yeah,
why would we not want to have this place?
Joe,
this would be amazing.
We're going to be seeing deals of these random buildings around the country that are cheaper than what we see here in Huntsville or up in New York or out in California, and we're going to want to buy them. It doesn't mean we have to buy them.
No, we do.
We're going to have 17 different buildings around the country that are going to range from 100,000 to 200,000 that are going to be awesome. It doesn't mean we need to buy them, though.
It's a firehouse.
I know.
I mean, like, look, think about how cool that could be.
In the mornings, you're like rushing to work. You just pull.
Yeah. Just be like, see ya, honey. Just go right down the pole, just right there. And you're right, boom, right by your car.
Brandon's like, I can appraise that.
See?
We got the people for it.
I mean, we have the guys.
Yeah, we do have
we
the
could
connections.
go. I mean, look, the studio that we have just built that we're still building right now is absolutely beautiful. But think about a firehouse,
dude.
It is a firehouse.
The pole goes into the studio, so you can just pull into your seat.
Just right there. Just boop, there you go.
But I mean, we got Fleming Roofing and Restoration. They can fix up the top. All right.
And it's 100,000.
It's 100,000. We get Brandon to appraise it. All right. Then we get to some of our other businesses throughout the 97.7 lore. And that's how we get this thing figured out. And then we also get, a rental from, I don't know, Kia. Who knows?
I mean, look, I think this is a plan that we need to think of outside of the whole moving the Cincinnati part. Outside of that, this sounds like a really, really cool idea.
We're still local. We still talk Huntsville
That's
sports,
right.
just up in Cincinnati.
That's right. It's snowing here as we're preparing for the Bengals to take on this team and Cincinnati Bearcat football. But right now, we want to talk Alabama Auburn, the number 1, number 2 team in the country, still playing each other.
Now, here's your traffic report.
Right now, going across the Kentucky state line.
Yeah, we got a lot of actually local things to get into today, as well as, of course, the weather with Grayson Nello, as we are running that back in the second hour. But on top of
running
that,
it back means we're having her on again. It's not the same thing from the other day.
No, it's not the exact same thing.
We're not getting her on to talk about tornadoes. No. Now we're talking about snow and ice. That's what we're getting her on to talk about.
But we also got to get into the conversation around college football, focusing on the playoffs expanding. We might see 14 teams. We might see 16 teams. We might see 4 automatic bids for both the SEC as well as the Big Ten. I have a lot of opinions, and I cannot wait to share them with the listeners, and I can't wait to hear theirs as well, because you can hit us up 256-576-9777. We also got the brand new college basketball AP poll that we'll be getting into. Alabama does drop not 1 position, but 2 positions. We will be talking a little bit about that.
Still have time.
And is it fair? Yes, it's fair. It's still early. Look,
no.
All of these teams have a chance, whether you're top 10 or top 20.
Well, and it's different from what happened a couple of weeks ago when Alabama was, 1 and then everybody around them lost. it is a little bit of a different scenario with that, because, and that's the reason why you would say, why are they dropping when, the way the other teams did? It also has to do with the fact that you did have Florida still playing well. Duke was playing well. Both of those teams won. Yeah. So they're moving down to the 4th spot. And again, the biggest thing about this is, one, your seeding when it comes to the SEC basketball tournament, because you want to play as few games in Nashville that you need to play. Mm-hmm. The other part is that you're also wanting to make sure for your seeding in the NCAA tournament. And in the NCAA tournament, it's even more important than what the SEC championship is, because the 4 teams that are right now sitting 1, 2, 3, and 4, you can basically say those teams should be your top 4 seeds in the NCAA tournament coming up in March. So it's now about, is Alabama going to have to travel across the country? Are they only going to have to travel to like Atlanta or wherever they're going to have to go, depending on where the tournaments are? That's what you're having to figure out at this point in time. And that's where the seeding is going to be most important. That's why you don't want to drop below that 4 line, because then you start to be a borderline number 2 team and having a harder route to the Sweet 16 Elite 8.
Also, with all of these interesting college teams coming into the Huntsville area, we've seen it before in the past, as well as the Conference USA tournament coming up in March. There is a question thrown out to the listeners, as well as ourselves, because we will definitely be discussing this. But with all of this big-time stuff coming into the city of Huntsville, big-time college sports, on top of course, UAH playing really good basketball, what would you like to see? And this, Joe, I know I just snagged your question, so you could probably ask it better.
You didn't just snag it. You landmined it.
I landmined the thing.
I mean, you literally said, hey.
But it's a daily question. This is a day question right here.
I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and I'm going to take your idea, and I'm just going to throw it right there and go, boom. Just right there.
Exploded.
Just a landmine.
Exploded.
Just like just right there.
Maybe
in the middle.
You know what? I was going to ask it, go to break, and then come back and get into a little bit of that fun.
256-576-4977 as we continue. When we come back, SEC and Big Ten want to rule the college football world. We want to hear from you about it when we come back on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sorry, Joe.
It's not okay.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
It's laundry season at Owen Home Appliance Center. Tired of that washer walking out the door and having to dry a load 2 or 3 times? It's time for a new washer and dryer. Pick from brands like Maytag, GE, Whirlpool, Electrolux, and of course, Speed Queen. Try the new 2-in-1 GE Profile that washes and dries a load all in one machine. Visit the interactive location in Lacey Springs where you can try the washers and dryers before you buy them. Owen Home Appliance Center. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. It's in the name, Owen Home Appliance Center.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Tom Luganbill here from my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner, unmatched in the North Alabama area. It is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslanding.com. That's gunnerslanding.com.
We are your home for March Madness.
3 seconds to go. Here comes Suggs. 3 for the win.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Lexington, Providence, Rhode Island, Seattle, Washington, Wichita, Kansas, Cleveland, Denver, Milwaukee, and Raleigh, North Carolina are your first and second round locations for the NCAA tournament.
Oh, okay. I thought you were naming off a bunch of different houses from a bunch of different areas that you wanted to buy.
Firehouse?
Mhm.
I mean, look, firehouses right now, look, the idea with as expensive as housing is, you take a firehouse and you can turn it into a regular house. I think it would be absolutely beautiful.
Trust me, I'm all there for you. If you want to do it, then I'll I don't know, I'll chip in like a bag of Fritos or something.
No, you're gnawing on some Fritos right now, and they remind me of at the SEC tournament. You can always get these as well. It's right when you walk inside, you take a left, and there's one setup right there. There's one kiosk of this I forget whatever it's even called, where they put Doritos in there, and then they start to put on top of it like meat and lettuce and cheese and tomatoes and all that.
I can taste it already.
Just letting you know, just whenever you plan on going to the SEC tournament.
See, there's always something at any SEC event that just kind of sticks with you for your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking, maybe like the Dorito trash bag type of, food
they
item.
do Doritos and Fritos.
And that's a tasty little thing. I feel like it would be something perfect for the trash bandits to also hop into, because it does seem like a trash bag. For me, anytime I go to an SEC event, it's always been like this. At Fanfare, at Media Days, the Dr. Pepper selection has been lights out every single year. It doesn't matter. I remember when it was just Dr. Pepper, and then they had, I think it was just the cherry Dr. Pepper. At Fanfare, amazing. Then they introduced strawberries and cream. That messed me up. But then they added the coconut and cream. And let me tell you,
all sounds disgusting, by the way.
Coconut and cream is a little bit iffy, but I will say the strawberries and cream,
look,
that is a taste I will remember for the rest of my life.
Look, if you are ever in question as to what conference is hosting a said tournament, just look for it. And if you see Dr. Pepper anywhere, you're at an SEC tournament.
No doubt.
It is, you are bombarded with Dr. Pepper stuff. I do not care which sport it is. There is tons of it during SEC media days. I promise you, the Diet Dr. Pepper liquid that goes through all the media members in that 4 hours or 4 day span is, we're talking gallons.
It might double the country's intake in the span of 2 months. That's only 3 to 4 days. Oh, if you're watching on WZZN TV, you get the full effect right here.
This is now a visual because this was not planned.
Not planned. But this is the seed that the SEC has implanted into, of course, the South, as it should.
Yeah, so phone lines are open to you, 256-576-977. Let's head to the phone lines. And John, welcome in, man. How's it going, bro?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Did you have a good weekend?
Oh, it was good, minus the fact that the Havoc lost on Sunday, and then they lost last night as well in Birmingham, man. Like it was like, come on now.
Yeah. I missed the show yesterday, so I didn't get to hear you talk much about it.
Sure. Yeah, no, it was a fun game. They didn't play their best. We're going to talk about it tonight on the Havoc Hour because they definitely haven't played their best the last few games. Yeah.
So I got a couple things you've been talking about this morning to hit on. So the Firehouse thing sounds amazing.
See,
everybody likes the Firehouse idea.
When I was in college my freshman year in South Carolina, a couple guys on the baseball team had a apartment that used to be a bank. So dude, they kept all their stuff like a closet in the vault.
Yeah.
I mean, so the vault door was on the was still there. Everything was still, set up like a bank. But they used it as an apartment, and everyone wanted to rent that place. When those guys were leaving after their lease, it's just those types of things are, especially in the college area, are money makers. So if that's near a college town, you might could have a Firehouse, near the college. I don't know. That's a great idea.
You just brought something up because I just now realized the new building that we are now having our studios in, as you can see them on ZZN TV. This used to be a bank, so I want to know if there's now a vault somewhere. Now that you mentioned that, I want to go around the first floor and just kind of search and see if there's a vault somewhere, because I never thought about them leaving the vault. Whoa, Johnny, there? Oh, there you are.
I lose you?
Yeah, you got me. You got me back now. Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, so walking into that vault was just really cool.
That's awesome.
So also another thing you hit on was I'm a girl dad, so I'd really love to see like the SEC volleyball tournament or something like that here.
Right.
The volleyball interest it's huge in Madison County. So our rec leagues are packed full of kids. It's probably one of our biggest programs in the Madison County Rec League, besides basketball, but it's really climbing to take over basketball. And it's just there's several travel clubs here, and there's just a huge volleyball community in this area. So I think that would the gymnastics tournament I heard went pretty well when it was here, but volleyball would be great.
Well, no, and I think the volleyball one, and we've seen this, and you've seen this as well, as you can get, say, let's just use the VBC for instance. Like if you want to use South Hall, you could use both the South Hall as well as the arena itself, and you can have multiple games going on at any point in time. Like it wouldn't be that hard to be able to set that up with, because we've seen places where you've seen tournaments where there's 3 and 4 games going on side by side in these massive Saturday tournaments that start at 7 a.m. and go until midnight.
Yeah. It's fun stuff. Growing up, I wasn't around the game much, but now that I've got involved more, you watch these college girls play volleyball. It is incredible. Their athleticism and all the things that they can do. It's quite impressive.
Well, I did a lot of stuff for UAH volleyball this year, and it was bad because I think it was West Florida, who's the premier volleyball team in the GSC. Those girls get up, and even with their serves, the first thing I would think of being baseball guys, I wonder what the velo is on that thing. I want to know how hard they're hitting the volleyballs, because they look like they're destroying these things. And then you'll see another girl on the other side of the net that's able to, return. And I'm thinking, how did you even see that? That thing was flying.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen some facials, some really good meet the fucker or meet the parent.
Do I have to send
no, I think he's good on that one. Yeah,
it's a lovely movie. It's a lovely movie.
Yeah. That Meet the Parents or whatever that movie's called, where he comes across and spikes the bride in the face.
Oh, absolutely.
They're not just out there,
Yeah,
doing girl things.
And as
they're
you were
really getting
talking, by
after
the
it.
way, I just looked it up. The SEC championship or the SEC volleyball tournament's in Savannah, Georgia. Like, okay, you could be a little bit closer. Like that's the reason why Alabama gets chosen for so many of these things, is it's right in the center of a lot of this. So, I mean, Huntsville would be much better for that than what Savannah, Georgia would be.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a good middle of the road type town.
Yeah,
just like Nashville. I mean, just kind of right there in the middle of the whole conference. But
absolutely,
but yeah, I mean, those are the things that I just kind of running through my mind. I mean, the growth here and the sports here is taking off. The pickleball community, crazy big.
They have a Camp Pickle that's coming up. It's going to be just a huge facility, all for pickleball, and just hanging out with pickleball friends. It's called Camp Pickle.
We play pickleball in the county rec gyms every day. We'll have like today. I'll have 30 or 40 people show up to play pickleball just because it's a little chilly outside. So
I never knew that. Like I know, like at UAH, with right beside Spraggins, they have the tennis courts, and they transform those into pickleball courts, and they're packed every single day that they transform them. But I didn't know. Like I'm still not on the pickleball thing, so I didn't know how huge it was.
It's a generation thing. This is going to sweep the nation.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It really is. I mean, it's older people are playing to kind of get their exercise in. And,
yeah.
I mean, I'll have people ranging from 20s to 70, 75, just out there playing, trying to get a little bit of cardio in. And I mean, it's a fun game. It really is.
Yeah, our boss loved it.
Sometime.
Our boss loved it until
his
kneecap just went onto his shin or something like that.
I think honestly, John, I think we do have like 2 or 3 guys up here that do play pickleball. Like
I can name
regularly.
Scott,
I know does
for sure. I think Scott was the one that got Wes into it in the first place. Tom, I guess, plays it occasionally. I could not imagine that, but I mean, I'm thinking about this. I'm fine with pickleball. I'm probably not going to play it. I used to play tennis back in high school. If anything could make a return or anything could get like popular right now, bring back. I want shuttlecock. I want badminton.
Wait,
I'm just being honest.
So far, we've named Meet the Fockers, and we've also said shuttlecock in the exact same segment.
Bring back badminton. I love it. It's such a fun sport.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
okay.
It's called a birdie.
Oh yeah, let's go with birdie. Can we please go with birdie on this and not repeat what John just said?
Sorry, I'm a traditionalist.
That John, not this John.
This John.
John,
the one that's on the phone.
John, I think we're both on thin ice right now, man.
Yeah, both of you right now are almost swinging and missing on that one. So let's just go ahead and kill that one, okay?
Oh, jeez.
My bad. It is spelled different.
It is. It definitely is. And
I should have said meet the parents.
Yeah. Meet the parents. Let's go with meet the parents.
Nobody would understand that. The other name, which I could say, but now you guys got me self-conscious.
Oh, dude, I was self-conscious in repeating it just now because I was focused so hard on the O in the middle of that. Like I was making sure I didn't screw up.
No. Well.
We should get you guys out. We should get you guys out to New Hope Rec Center on a Monday, and y'all do a live show, and you see all the people there to play pickleball.
Dude, well, I mean, we're there. I mean, again, that's all. Yeah, absolutely, man. Hit us up. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Y'all could do some commentating.
Oh, absolutely.
Have a couple of ladies in their 60s playing another couple of ladies in their 60s, and you guys could go back and forth.
As long as we can get on WZZN TV, the views would skyrocket.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, it would be awesome. It would be cool, and you got to really use the word pickleball, because you can throw the word balls out there a lot.
Jeez.
There's a lot of dirty-minded older people when they're playing pickleball. They just start,
younger,
making inside jokes.
Well, they're gonna love us.
Yeah. Then they're gonna have a blast with us. So absolutely, we're game for that.
Yeah, that would be cool. Let's set it up.
All right, bro.
Good
Absolutely.
stuff.
Let us know, man.
Have a great day. I got to set up some nets for these people to come in here and play.
All right, bro. See you, man. That is that's John on this, because I'm telling you, man.
It's John the photographer. That's
John the photographer.
That's what we're going with.
Yeah. John Honey Photography. Absolutely. He used to be one of my teammates, as well as one of my coaches, which is kind of crazy to see. It's very similar to like a Huntsville Havoc situation where, one season they're on the ice with you and they're on the field. And then the next season it's, hey, I'm your first base coach. And you got to listen to me as you round the base. And I promise you that, you need to listen pretty much. So but now in DC, I wasn't planning on talking about all the things that do need to come to Huntsville to kind of start this off with but now that you guys are going down the avenue of it, and I'm starting to see this, like we have softball with the Rocket City Showcase that's happening today. You have obviously the Alabama State High School wrestling stuff that was at the VBC this past weekend because Scott Tyson was over there with that the entire time. We obviously will have Alabama and or Auburn playing exhibition games at the VBC.
Because Alabama played Memphis, and that, turned out to be one of the best matchups you could even see in the area because Memphis is no snuff. Top 25 team. Alabama, of course, top 5 team. It was a great time for Huntsville.
Yeah, and you have those events going on, and now with everything that can happen at Toyota Field, depending on things get fixed, you may even have Rocket City Trash Pandas games. Who knows? Jeez. But no, there's a lot of things that you're saying and looking at this city that are going like, wait a second, this isn't, do you realize how hard it used to be to get like one SEC team to come to Huntsville for anything?
Mm-hmm.
I remember at the VBC when it was, and it may have been Auburn and Alabama A&M playing each other, if I remember correctly. It may have been that, but it was like 2005, 2004, or something like that.
Oh.
And it was a massive deal that they were coming up to Huntsville to play a basketball game because of everything we have. Look, we had UNA and Army playing each other over at Toyota Field. UNA now, like this is where people that are even my age are having to think about this. They are a Division I program now. Like, those matchups that you are going to see now when it includes UNA, the Army matchups is just one of them. Again, UNA is, heck, it is this weekend, right? That they're going to Knoxville to take on to play Tennessee.
Pretty sure. Yeah.
So, there's a lot of those types of things that are happening. So what should be the next thing that makes its way to Huntsville?
Joe, you're going to hate me. NASCAR. I want NASCAR. Bring it to Huntsville Speedway. There's a speedway here in Huntsville,
Dude,
Joe.
It's like a
I don't care.
Half of a mile.
They drive inside the Coliseum out in LA. They can do it at the Huntsville Speedway.
God, I'm so about to look this up.
Might not actually be that
I seriously
big.
want to say it's a
enough.
quarter-mile track, man.
That's fine. They would do it at a quarter mile. This is NASCAR we're talking about. It
is a quarter-mile track.
Okay, then bring it down to the smaller leagues. I just want to see more done at the Speedway. And maybe it's just because I haven't understood the schedule. It's been a little bit all over the place. But I want more to come to the racing scene.
Yeah,
I don't care. Put a rally course out here.
Bristol, by the way, is a half-mile track.
I get that.
It's twice the size as far as the oval is concerned.
Okay, the Coliseum was a quarter mile. That was a quarter-mile track, Joe.
All right, because it's a football field. It's a football field.
It's a Coliseum.
It is a football field, and they just decided to put cement around everything.
Well, cement.
Was it even cement? No, it was Bristol that used dirt. Yeah, it was Bristol that used dirt.
Which that means, we could do dirt track. I don't even care. I know that they don't like to do that, but instead of going to Bristol and putting down all this dirt and making it messy, go to Huntsville Speedway.
I don't think people have any idea about how long it took the people at Bristol to try to get that dirt off of the track.
John went to Bristol during that race, which is actually really awesome because it is a very exclusive event. Now looking back on it, it's like NASCAR on ice, which happened as well, but it was, I think, the Xfinity series. So, yeah, or Menards.
It was one of which, because not only were you were on dirt, but with the cars driving around, it was packing it in. Then the rubber, the heat, all of this other stuff that goes with it was making it almost impossible to remove all of the dirt from the track just to get it back to the way that it was supposed to be.
Well, the race that they came back to without dirt the first time in, I think, 3 years that they tried to do the race, that was on this asphalt that was it was so rough. It was ripping up the tires. So it was like the total opposite from what the dirt was doing. And I liked it. I thought it was fun, but I didn't end up watching the second race.
So Matthew goes, if you guys keep going, you're all going to get canceled by lunchtime. You have no idea at how hard it was for me to try to focus on saying the name of that movie properly whenever I was repeating and recapping all the things that we had said during this segment.
The impulses are getting to me, Joe.
He also says, and I'll get to that one when we come back as well, because we have your phone lines are open to you. What would you like to see come to Huntsville? What's next? We've had wrestling, we've had baseball, we've had softball with the showcase that's happening this weekend. All of that has been here. What should be the next event/sport that needs to make its way to Huntsville as this city and in the Tennessee Valley continues to grow? 256-576-977 as you listen to the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WCCN TV.
We got a little say.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa signature card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
College baseball today. The Auburn Tigers taking on the Troy Trojans. Auburn, the $1.35 favorite. Troy plus 105 of the money line. North Alabama, winners of 5 straight, tied for first in the Atlantic Sun with Lipscomb hosting 5-22 West Georgia today at Flowers Hall. The Lions 15.5-point home favorites, 147.5 the total in a possible look-ahead spot for the Lions, who meet Lipscomb on the road on Thursday. Lipscomb tied with North Alabama for first in the Atlantic Sun. The Bison today, 3.5-point favorites at Eastern Kentucky. For more, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof, not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Sometimes the coolest little gems are found a little off the beaten path, and that's exactly where you will find Hickory Store Barbecue. They are on Blake Bottom Road, just east of Jeff Road, and it's definitely worth the trip. The smokers are going on site daily, and they have the best smoked wings around. You'll love the fireplace and the covered patio, and best of all, Hickory Store Barbecue is locally owned and operated by the McAlpins. They even have rotating craft beer taps and live music weekly. Hickory Store Barbecue. Go see what you're missing. Blake Bottom Road in Monrovia. You'll thank me later.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Alabama knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
If you're gonna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. That lead guitar is hot, but not for Louisiana man. So Ross and that band both faded love, and that's all dance. If you're gonna
Oh, we'll be talking about him soon enough. Just put him away.
Yeah, just a little bit of a preview of what's going to be going on WZZN TV. Make sure you can watch us over on Facebook as well as X at 977 ESPN. And WZZN TV on YouTube. That is where we are going to have the Havoc Hour tonight, 6 o'clock. Zambruski's right there in the back of the Iceplex. All you got to do is right when you walk into the Iceplex, you'll see the stairs right in front of you. Go up those. It doesn't matter if you go left or right. Head all the way to the back, and that is where Zambruski's is. We are there every single week. We have $1 off beer as well. As the show goes on from 6 till 7 o'clock. And this is going to be a unique one because really and honestly, this is one of the few times that we're going into a Havoc Hour and the team has lost a couple of games.
Yeah.
It doesn't really happen often.
A little bit of the other side of the coin to
Yeah.
talk about in this one. And I'm looking forward to it regardless. Do we know the guys yet?
I'll double check on it just yet. I do not know the guys just yet of who's going to be joining us.
Gotcha.
There are some questions that we have already gotten. I appreciate everybody that was walking around the VBC on Sunday afternoon because the game started at 5 o'clock on Sunday. And as I was going down to the ice to get on the bench, the amount of people that stopped me and talked about the Havoc Hour, how much they enjoyed it, the fact they were like, hey, man, how do we get questions in? It's easy. Like at the WZZN TV, when it is live, you can comment right there with your questions. We have the feed up always. And whenever the show ends, the questions that we don't get to, we go back to, and that's kind of who we start off with, the questions we start off with, if they're, pertaining to the entire team and not just one player.
Yeah. And it was, we had the show at least linked towards the Facebook, but now you can actually watch it on Facebook as well. And on top of that, if you ask your questions on that Facebook video, it'll also send to us so we can also get your questions in. So it's just that much easier now to interact with your favorite Havoc players.
So make sure that whether you are following us on X or if you're following us on our Facebook fan page, the moment that we find out who our guests are going to be tonight, we will throw them up so that you can start getting those questions in for those guys, because Cervoni last week was really, really fun, especially with the fact that the guy's barely even been in town for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it's also reinforced everything that I thought about with Charlie Risk, because Charlie is the nicest, like best and wholehearted guy. And then the moment that man was on the ice Sunday, they were literally chirping in between the glass at each other. And he's like, and he says, all right, you want to go? When we get back on the ice, let's go. They got back on the ice and they went. I mean, it wasn't anything that was just like, oh, Charlie's on the ice. Oh, look, he's picking a fight. Oh no, trust me. Like, it is a flip in the switch every single time whenever it goes into game mode for him. And it is so cool to see, because the moment the game's over and after a win, he's back to being his normal fun self. Yeah. Also, one of the suggestions that we've gotten on WZZN TV would be a Huntsville Grand Prix.
There you go. I wonder how this one would work. Would it be like a all-around all of Huntsville, Madison, Decatur, Athens area? Because that, I feel like, would be a good Grand Prix. Or would it be a smaller track, smaller circuit, and would we just try and knock this thing out in
Do they ever do a Grand Prix on a highway or the interstate?
Probably. Oh, I would say
because for a lot of people, like they have to shut down so many roads for a Grand Prix throughout a city.
Yeah, they probably try and avoid the highway if they can, but I don't know. I know of a few tracks, maybe overseas, maybe in Japan, where they actually do take advantage of the highways.
Like seeing them go down University Drive.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Dude, all you gotta do is just go down 72. That's it.
Exactly.
That's the track right there. You just go down the track. You just hit 72 and you just start right at, you turn off and say, we'll start at the VBC.
Yeah.
You turn onto it, you get to the University Drive, and once you get on University Drive, that takes you all the way out to the interstate. Boom, there's a whole little route.
So let's think about this. If they did it similar to how they did, what was the F1, or was it? It was one of the IndyCar racing. I think it was IndyCar racing, something like that. But it was in Nashville. They also had it in Chicago with NASCAR.
They do have it. They do have it in Nashville because the start finish line is right in front of the stadium,
the Titans Stadium.
Yep,
yes,
right in front of the football stadium.
I actually, whenever we went to Media Days 2 years ago, hotel right where the track was.
Yeah,
and then we obviously had the view. And it was near what's that? What was that hotel that's been there forever? It's like Team Hotel or Stadium Hotel.
Oh, the Teamsters. The Teamsters Hotel.
I don't know if that's.
Yeah, no, Teamsters totally different thing. Yeah, I mean there might be maybe a dead body underneath it that we've been trying to look for. Jimmy Hoffa may be there, but it was what's also wild. I didn't think about this until just now. Like with the Nashville Grand Prix, the start finish line is no longer there.
Is that road not there or what?
No, because it's all covered up because of construction. Because with the stadium the butt of the stadium is right up against the current stadium. So the only thing that you can walk in that area is where the sidewalk is.
I got
to the stadium. That's it.
Interesting.
So now I wonder about what they were going to be doing with that. But yeah, Matt is right. Like they do it in Nashville and Chicago.
So okay. So let's figure this out. If we're gonna have a Grand Prix in Huntsville, what roads would it go on? Like, I feel like we've got to go past the VBC. All right, you got to go past the VBC. Okay, you can go down that one road that's going to pass the new construction that's also right next to the post office, right across the street. I'm not going to know all the roads. Broadway, that's awesome.
See, I'm looking up the track for the Nashville Grand Prix just to kind of give an idea.
Are the Huntsville roads thick enough? Downtown. Are we going to keep it downtown, or are we going to go University?
That's what you're going to hear whenever they get on certain roads.
Now, the city of Huntsville does a really good job of filling up some of those holes, but then other ones just pop up like a day after.
Oh, yeah, no, this could never happen in Birmingham. In Birmingham, if you even with the moment that you try to go down the interstate on Birmingham, it's
we'll talk about the fastest drive-by in history.
I mean, it was just like that's all you hear the entire time for it in here. So yeah, no, I would say you want to go down University Drive.
Okay.
You couldn't do getting on Research Park. Like you couldn't do that kind of a turn onto Research Park.
Well, if you go past Divergence, okay, because
we're just gonna start throwing out our sponsors on here. All right, so we're gonna go full Alabama. All right, so this race is gonna start at the VBC. You're gonna go up here and you're gonna take a right there beside all the clubs down on the square.
Yes.
Then you're gonna go past the square and you're gonna take a left right there by the shrimp store. And then you're going to go right down, and this is going to turn it. That's going to be University Drive. All right, you're going to know it's University Drive because the Burger King has been there for 342 years. That's where you're going to know it's on the right. That Red Lobster. That's it right there. We're going to drive all the way down. That's it. Once you get to Target, down there on University Drive.
Then you get to the other Target. That was going to be on the left as well.
That's how we're going to be telling them they're going to be driving
that'd be so
in
cool.
the Huntsville Grand Prix.
Dude,
that you're wanting to do.
Instead of that, let's just do a rally. Let's do a rally. Then we can have a spotter that's saying, okay, Walmart left. What is it? The new Gabe's. Turn right.
All right.
All of that stuff.
Yeah. So, okay. So I've found the image now for where this is for the Nashville Grand Prix. Yeah. They go down.
That's what we should have
done. They go down Broadway. They go across the bridge. They go around. Yeah. It's not an extremely long track, and obviously they've got to make 3 or 4, sharp turns, but I mean, it could be doable.
5 Guys, turn left.
Yeah. Turn left at the 5 Guys. All right, there's the Dunkin's. The Krispy Kreme red light on. Nope. Okay, just keep driving. All right, once you get to A&M, you're going to take a left right there, okay? And then you're going to turn all the way back around. It's going to be a big 180 that you're going to be doing right there.
Mm-hmm. Once you hit Sparkman, that's when you go. You try and get past Woody Anderson Ford, take a right. You're going to see that Home Depot. Yep. Don't stop. Keep going.
Look, you know you're going to be going too far. You got to take a left right there at Jordan and Drake, because if you go straight, you're going to the Arsenal. And I don't care how fast you think your car is. I promise you, they're not going to miss. So you don't want to be able to try to go that way.
That's not the pit stop. That's the express oil change. Damn it. We don't have the money for this. Oh, Krispy Kreme's light's still not on. Please. I've never seen the light on. I just want to, like, if Krispy Kreme could just do it, like, right after this break, I could finally see it happen.
Oh.
30.
All right, take a ride at Jordan. You're going to go all the way out. Once you pass the Church's Chicken, we need you to turn left right there. That's how you're going to do every bit of this. There's a Publix on your right. Take a left at Sparkman High School right there. You're going to keep driving. Jeff Rowe, we're going to get you there. Just keep going. Take another left. Like, we're not even going to give you anything else except for landmarks. That's all we're going to do. All right, second hour coming up. Thank God Grayson Ello didn't have to hear this. Let's talk about how everything's going to freeze over tonight when we come back on the Blitz.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed mold, mildew, bowing walls, or water in your basement? I hope not, but if you have, your basement is losing the war against groundwater. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states, will work as before. See website for detail.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. Its daily update on Bama sports and is brought to you by Everwood Treatment Company, the official treated lumber of Alabama athletics. Everwood, wood treated right. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. Alabama baseball completed a opening weekend sweep of the Bradley Braves on Sunday. Here are post-game thoughts from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Rob Vaughn.
Yeah, obviously just really happy with the way the guys got after it this weekend. You know, especially today, you've had two pretty nice weather days for baseball, and then you come out today, and my goodness, that felt like a day in College Park for us. It was a chilly, windy day, and kept getting colder, and man, they rang the bell all day. Just consistent at bats. Every guy coming out of the pen, kind of doing their job. So just really happy with the effort. I thought it was a complete weekend. Good to get out there and play a different jersey for a couple days, and so now get some rest and turn our attention to Middle Tennessee for Tuesday. They did their job in kind of uncomfortable conditions and did it at a really high level, and that's what they should do. That's what they're talented enough to do it. They're mentally focused enough to do it, and they ran off a good plan today. So really happy with their approach, and you could feel it. Second I walked on the field for BP, I knew we were fine.
I'll have more in a moment.
Producing championship quality lumber is not an easy process, but at Everwood Preserving, it's our only process. Wood treated right. Everwood offers top-notch pressure-treated wood for decks, outdoor structures, commercial jobs, and more that you can build your reputation on. When it comes to quality, we're on the winning team. Visit your local Everwood dealer today and discover the difference for yourself. Everwood Preserving Incorporated, the official lumber of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Join us this afternoon for Crimson Tide baseball against Middle Tennessee. First pitch at Sewell Thomas Stadium is scheduled for 4 p.m. Central, with our coverage on the network beginning at 3:45 p.m. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Everwood. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, "Savings never tasted so good." Click on that, then enter in the big zone deals store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Hickory Store Barbecue, Good Company Cafe, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's what's happening.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. For a limited time, GBank is offering a $250 bonus when you open a GBank Visa Signature Card. Apply today at vsin.com/GBank.
College baseball today. The Auburn Tigers taking on the Troy Trojans. Auburn, the $1.35 favorite. Troy plus 105 of the money line. North Alabama winners of 5 straight, tied for first in the Atlantic Sun with Lipscomb hosting 5-22 West Georgia today at Flowers Hall. The Lions 15.5-point home favorites, 147.5 the total in a possible look-ahead spot for the Lions, who meet Lipscomb on the road on Thursday. Lipscomb tied with North Alabama for first in the Atlantic Sun. The Bison today, 3.5-point favorites at Eastern Kentucky. For more, go to vsin.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Blitz. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, who now hates me because I have forced him to watch so many different Japanese baseball games and or videos that now his phone has embedded that in his algorithm.
It's just the Japanese that you've been speaking before the show. It's just like my phone doesn't need to hear that. He doesn't need to be influenced by that. He already gets all the little bit of anime that I watch.
Yeah. So now you now have MPB baseball that is being shown in your algorithm. So I hope you enjoy that. As we were talking about the things that need to come to Huntsville next. Since we have the softball tournament going on and the softball showcase happening at Toyota Field in UAH, Matthew then says, imagine trying to do a Grand Prix down the Parkway. Look,
that would be fast.
Just say it'd be
Cars
fast.
would fly.
Probably also wouldn't be smart to try that for the next 24 hours, I would think, which is the reason why. This is not a rerun of Friday. This is not something because normally we only have Grace on maybe once every other month or something like that.
It's like a special occasion. It's like
is.
going to Sonic after school.
It's
get some ice cream.
Exactly. You get the Blizzard and you get the the Reese's
That's
and all
DQ.
this. Doesn't
That's
matter.
DQ.
Whatever. Okay. Doesn't matter. A slushy, whatever.
Well, we're literally getting a little bit of slushy. I would
Yeah,
say.
you're going to be getting that. So Grace Anell joins us once again on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and oh crap, she's in the basement.
Let me
now.
let me get out of here. I don't know how I can.
Yeah, she is. She's in the basement now. We are in. This is when we know it's.
Why is the camera so zoomed
She is
in?
not joining us from the Way 31 studio. She is joining us from the basement of Way 31. That means it is going to be really,
she's gonna move her
really
chair.
bad as she is trying to get set up herself. In all of this, but
that'll work.
Grace joins us right now on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, as well as you see her on WZZN TV. Grace, you already have us panicking because of where you're doing this interview at. So should we be freaking out right now?
No, you should not be freaking out right now because you called. It's been a little bit of a busy day, but I said, you know what? There's some of my favorites. I'll make it work. So this is me making it work for you.
No, and I appreciate that because we did talk about everything that was going to happen over Saturday into Sunday, and I will say that if it had not been for our conversation when all the alarms started going off around midnight on Saturday night, I think I would have just muted them and rolled over and been like, "Screw this! I'm not dealing with this right now." So we appreciate it. But now we're like 3 days from that, and we have softball that is going on at Toyota Field. They've already moved everything up to today, so basically trying to free up on Wednesday. We have baseball games that are also going to be taking place around the area, and we also have a lot of fans here locally that are traveling to like Jack State and a thing for all the basketball tournaments. So help us out when it comes to the events that's going to be taking place over probably the next 24 and 48 hours.
Yeah, so there is snow that's coming to the Tennessee Valley, but that's only one component. The other aspect you got to think about is exactly what the temperatures are going to be on the back end of that.
Mhm.
So basically, we're going to start to see snow overnight tonight. Starts in the shoals around midnight, tracks east into the wee hours, out of our way by about 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So it's a primarily nocturnal threat. If you live in the shoals, anywhere from 2 to 2.5 inches, many of the rest of us are just going to see about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. That's not terrible. And the good news is we're waking up at a temperature of 29. That's cold enough for it to be pure snow. Had we have been a few degrees warmer and we got some of that freezing rain, then we would have seen an icy issue, and that would have been a problem. We're not dealing with that. We're just going to be dealing with 1 inch and 1.5 inches of snow for most of us. If you live south and east, kind of towards Gadsden, kind of towards Etowah, Cherokee County area, and like you were talking about Jack State, unlikely to see a whole lot of anything, to be honest with you. The issue is our high temperature in the mid 30s tomorrow. That's going to be cold. But then when we wake up on Thursday, we're feeling like single digits. Our high temperature doesn't even get above freezing. So you have a little bit of that road condition impact first thing on Wednesday morning, but then you've got Arctic weather on the back end of it.
Okay, so that's all, again, great news.
So we're going to be able to drive to work tomorrow, though.
Yes.
That's the biggest question for a lot of
So
people.
that is the biggest question, and that's pretty much dependent on you. Now, if you live in the shoals, you're going to see a couple of inches, so you'll have to see what you want to do there. Many of the rest of us, though, like we said, just that 1.5 inches. So are you comfortable with that? It's not going to be ice. It's going to be that snow. Personally, I feel comfortable driving in that, but it's really just up to you on how you feel and what kind of tires you have.
Oh yeah, well, let's not talk about that. So the whole also goes into like schools and everything, because kids were out yesterday because of President's Day, and obviously, you know, in the Tennessee Valley, we like to take a lot of precautions for this. So like for the parents that are right now watching at work or listening at work, like, are we going to have to start making some plans about where kids are going to need to be tomorrow or anything like that? You think it's going to get to that point where schools are going to possibly be canceled or what?
So that's a tough one. I hesitate to speak for the school systems just because they're all so different and they do often err on the side of caution. A lot of times what happens is schools will cancel for maneuverability of the buses or if the engines will start. We will be in the upper 20s, so I think the engines could get started just fine. It's just going to be a question of if they want to put them out on the road. I am getting reports that certain roads are already being pre-treated. I know Governor's is already being treated. They've got some sand and brine trucks out there. Oh, if y'all remember that conversation, remember you asked about
I did. Yes.
We had none of
that just like brought back memories. So I'm going to hesitate to speak for them. I think most of us that feel okay about it will be just fine maneuvering. Not a bad idea to have an insurance policy in your head, though. If you're a parent, at least just start thinking what might happen. But I can't say for sure. That'll be school system dependent.
Okay, so this is when we started seeing a lot about this, and especially, you know, watching your videos and stuff that you put up on Instagram as well as on your X feed, we start seeing about the way that this is coming in. And the first thought is, oh crap, this is going to be something like what we normally see like in January, where it's supposed to be snow and ice, but the temperature of the roads and that, and you were talking about the temperature and the fact that it isn't going to get above freezing, but what about because of the temperature of what it was around the Tennessee Valley on Saturday into Sunday, where we were talking like 60 and 70 degrees? Does that actually play into something that could benefit? Does that have anything to do with it, since that was 3 or 4 days ago?
Oh, hugely plays into it. So like today, our high is 49. We're going to feel like 46 at our warmest. That's big. Our roads are going to be nice and warm. If you remember that massive ice system we had 2 Januaries ago, that we had been in single digits for days. And so everything stuck to the ground immediately. We're going to be a little bit warmer going into this system, and that's really good news. The big question too, a lot of times, is wind. That'll help to dry out. As people drive on the road, it'll kind of move some of that slush around. around, like you guys were saying earlier. If we have some fairly gusty wind, we can kind of get some of that out of the way. I don't know that I'd call it gusty tomorrow, but we will have a little bit of a breeze. So it's definitely a weather impact day. You're not going to be able to be out the door late to work and be speeding on the drive and think that you're going to be okay. But if you drive carefully, will you be fine to get to the office? Yeah, I think probably most of us will. It's an impact day, but there's certain elements working in our favor. For sure.
And you think that this is all probably going to be out of the way come Thursday. I know it's going to be a lot colder, but it should all be resolved, all be out of the area, the snow that is going into Thursday, you would think?
So the issue is we're going to have refreeze overnight Wednesday. So typically what I think of in this situation is a lot of your main roads that have been plowed, that folks have been driving on a lot of times, those are going to be just fine Thursday morning. If you live out in the county and you have a road that hasn't been treated, doesn't see the sun, nobody's driven on it, you're going to get a little bit of that refreeze Thursday morning. So you might be in a slightly different situation. But we're not talking about Armageddon for anybody here.
It's Alabama, Grace. It's Alabama.
And yet, still, I feel this way.
I can't find any toilet paper. Everybody's taking it. All the water's gone.
Exactly. I mean, look, and the other part with it is it's not, when is this going to like end? Like, are we towards the end of this? You know, I always hear about like blackberry winter and all this other things that we use. How far are we from that point where it's always like the last one of these like winter cold weekends that we're talking about?
This is one of my favorite questions, Joe Hunk. So we are in second winter. So the way it goes is January is Ice Age, then fall spring. That was like a week and a half ago. Y'all remember that? It was like 1970. Now we're in second winter. Then we'll have second spring. That's next week. It's lasting about 4 days. We return to blackberry winter. It's like this, but a little more mild. Then pollen, then real spring.
Pollen.
So
You gotta.
The average last frost is April 1st. Now, we will get a whole lot warmer during the day. We'll have 50s and 60s, but we'll cool down to that 32, 33 up until the beginning of April. But we'll start to see more mild afternoons starting in March.
Okay. See, I'm a little bit better with this. Like, okay, now only reason I ask is just because I thought we were kind of done with the ice and snow and all of that sort of stuff because we were starting at the end of February. So when I started paying attention to the things that you were talking about on your socials, I'm like, wait, are you kidding me?
I know.
Like we're doing this again. Like,
how do you think I feel?
Well, look, this is your go time, okay? Like this is hey, I'm about to be on television for 15 straight hours.
True.
Like this is my go time with letting everybody know. This is your World Series. This is your big moment. This is
College football playoffs.
This is the moment that Eminem talks about for weather people. Like this is it.
As Gucci Mane once said, Burr.
Exactly. Exactly.
I was like that this morning.
Oh no! Trust me. Walking outside of this, I was like, "Wait, this is about to be even more." Because as normally with all the other events, the hockey games at the VBC, the basketball games, we're all inside. But like today, for instance, over the course of the next few days, we got a lot of people that are going to be at UAH for the softball showcase. It's going to be at Toyota Field for everything that's taking place. So that's the reason why it's like, okay, what do they need to be wearing during this period of time? Like, is this like a 2-layer event? Is this like a 3 or 4-layer event? What are we talking?
I'm team 3-4. Okay. I think for sure you go hot hands. I think you go probably boots over sneakers, if we're being honest, with some thicker socks. I mean, like on Thursday, we're talking a high of 29 with wind. So the warmest you're going to feel all day is like 22. Dang. And you're going to be there for about an hour and a half. And then you're going to be cooler other than that. It's like stay inside and cry weather, if you ask me. But then next week, you can go shorts and a t-shirt. A week from Wednesday, it's going to be 69.
Okay. I like the visual. It's a stay inside and just cry kind of day. Like look out the window and just play all your sad music type days.
100. Like, do you have a Snuggie? Just stay in that and just don't not wear that all day.
My son actually does have a Snuggie. He doesn't call it a Snuggie. He doesn't know that it's a Snuggie, but he has a Snuggie.
There you go.
He absolutely does. He does on that. Okay, so how long have you been here, Grace? Like just in the time span. Okay, you've been here 3 years. So we were talking about all these events that are kind of coming to Huntsville right now, especially the softball showcase. We just had state wrestling over at the VBC. We've seen Army and UNA play at Toyota Field. But for you, and I mean, sport and or event, what do you think needs to be the next one that makes its way to the Tennessee Valley?
I want to see more volleyball. So I played volleyball growing up. And we had one of the Junior Olympic tournaments we had was actually here at the BBC when I was real young. And that was the first time I ever came to Huntsville. It was like maybe 15 years ago. But anyways, I want to see more of that. I want to see more beach volleyball. Beach volleyball is something that people love to come and watch. Even if you're not playing, they love to just be outside, chill, sit. So I want to see some more of that.
Okay. See, that's actually a really good answer because oddly enough, you are the second person that has said that we need more volleyball around here, because we had John call in just a little while ago, his girl dad, and he's like, look, volleyball's huge. Like, we looked it up, the SEC volleyball tournament's actually in Savannah, Georgia. And we're like, why there? And why should it be here? So you're not the first one to say it, because the first thing I envision is like the VBC South Hall just being wide open with like 15 courts just going at it at some point in time.
Yeah, so there's an event in Atlanta every year at the Georgia World Congress Center, and it's called Big South, and it's an indoor women's volleyball tournament, and it's the largest youth sporting event in the world.
Really?
Every single year. Yeah.
Okay. All right. See, so second.
Is this why people call senators? Should we call them like, hey, bring volleyball to Huntsville?
Absolutely. Look, I continue to say that Huntsville is the city and the only city in the state that's really growing the way that you want a city to grow. And with Madison building Toyota Field, with the way that the VBC's been renovated, the fact that we're starting to get even more Division I programs coming this way, like the attention is kind of becoming more on Huntsville when it comes to these types of events. Alabama played a basketball game at the VBC. Like, okay, now you're starting to bring in bigger name events. This is something that could be it. And again, with downtown, there's hotels going up everywhere that goes into it as well. So
yeah, so I want volleyball events, but I want a basketball team. I think we stick with minor league just to stick with Trash Pandas and Havoc. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
But so I went to Mississippi State. We used to go to Grizz games all the time in Memphis. Those were so fun. Love a basketball game. I would love a team.
See, I like the thinking.
So before we let you go, Grace, I need to know, would you be able to sing Let It Go from Frozen?
Oh my heavens.
Because this might be the last snow of the year.
And no, nobody on this radio show wants to hear me sing.
Well, you know what? I said I would ask, and that's what we did.
Thank you.
So.
I appreciate you.
Listen, but I appreciate the confidence, though.
Look, the one thing that we're going to have to do at some point in time is we're going to have like a 97.7 karaoke show and a karaoke competition, and we're going to invite every single media member that we know. Yeah, no, we are. Don't say, John, don't say no. It's so look, I don't do it either. But I'm just saying we've got to do something like this at some point in time. So we're going ahead and just again testing the waters. If we're going to test them about what teams and what events need to come, we need to start testing the waters here too. So just letting you know that in the future that may happen.
Gotcha.
Is this the pass-fail test? Because my vote is fail.
Yeah, no, trust me, you're not the only one that's going to say no on this.
I will MC for you. I'll MC the event.
Oh, there we go. Have Grace MC it. And then she's the one calling everybody up, telling them what songs they're going to be singing.
I'm all for that.
There we go.
I'll sing a few songs.
Grace, we hope that the next time, actually, no, anytime we talk to you, it's always bad weather. So we just.
I'll say it like this. On the 10-day forecast, I don't think there's going to be another time that you're going to ask to talk to me.
Okay. All right. So there we go. Next 10 days going to be good after this. Okay.
Right.
Grace, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us from the basement, where you obviously make sure that nothing, just want to make sure everything's
There's a window right here.
Oh, there is a window. Okay. You're not in the basement, actually. No, you're not in the basement. Okay. Never mind.
I'm just not in the bougie studio like you.
No, you're right. You're not in the bougie studio. So every time you're there, you make me think, oh, crap, we definitely need to start making plans.
She's hunkering down.
Hunkering down because she is preparing to be there for a few days. She's already just ready to go in this. So, Grace, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And next time, crap hits the fan, where you're going to be the one we hit up.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. That is our Jim Cantori right there, joining us from the basement of Way 31 Studios.
And I'm back.
And now John is back. Yes, absolutely.
It's wonderful to be back.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Good. I'm honestly looking forward to a little bit of snow. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not something that'll hinder our ability to get to work, and it'll be something to be interesting once we wake up, because that's the one sad thing about every single day.
You got to wake up. Is that what you're saying?
No. The repetition. The repetition, but it's also the best thing about it. As we hop into break,
yes,
phone lines are open to you. 256-576-9777 is the number to hop in. We got Brandon on with us, as well as a whole lot more to get into.
We have a lot more questions that are also coming in the WZZN TV chat. Jason wants to know about tomorrow night's Auburn-Arkansas game as well. We'll get to all of that as we continue on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, and the Blitz.
Listen to UAH Charger basketball all season long.
So when we came out of the timeout, Coach Hedge had initially called a man play, and they ended up faking a zone. So the whole bench was yelling zone, zone, zone. So we tried to switch the play last second. We ended up getting confused. So Tommy swung it to me, and I initially was like, all right, I'm going to try and get to the rim right here. We're only down 2. We don't need a 3. And he flipped his hips real hard, and I tossed it back, and as soon as I let it go, I knew it was in.
Campbell to plug it in. 81-79 Union. Inbounds it goes. Dribbling it out, and Tommy Murr swings it over to Campbell. Campbell on the wing for the lead. Oh, my God! Blake Campbell! It's a 3! Into the front court for the win! No good! No good! No good! Blake Campbell with some onions from Jackson, Tennessee!
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Long before winter weather approaches, the Alabama Department of Transportation prepares to maintain interstate and state roads that could be affected by snow and ice.
Yeah, we start training and doing maintenance on snow and ice equipment months in advance to make sure everything is ready for when the freezing weather comes. We will have crews working around the clock that are prepared to plow snow and remove trees that have fallen into the roadway.
Our mission is to keep roadways safe and open. We try to achieve this by focusing on interstate routes first and then secondary roadways by traffic volume.
If the weather allows, we'll start pre-treating the roadways during the day to prepare for the temperature drop at night.
AlDOT wants to keep the public informed during these winter weather events. The best way to learn about state road conditions is the AlGo app and through local media. Brought to you by AlDOT, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
The Drive.
Both those guys have done a good job in what we've asked them to do, and both of them have developed nicely, and both of them have consistently made plays.
Wes and Steve.
Their decision-making, their judgment, their ability not to force things and take what the defense gives and distribute the ball with good decision-making, down in, down out, is probably the only thing that's going to be any different about them, because it's not physical ability or talent. So it's intangibles, leadership, decision-making, judgment, and all those types of things. And, both guys have done a good job in that regard as well.
Listen to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton each weekday afternoon starting at 5. We are your home of ESPN Radio, 97.7 The Zone.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
So based on what Grace Anello just told us from Way 31, it's not going to start until later on tonight. You should be good tomorrow. Just may want to leave just a little bit earlier. And that also means that it's going to be good enough for you to be able to also make your way to Zambrewski's tonight, 6 o'clock, as we have got the Havoc Hour once again live from the Iceplex. So make sure that you guys head down that way. We're going to be, when we find out the players and coaches and all that, those are going to be joining John and myself, because John is there every single week. Yeah. He's basically the only reason the stream looks as good as it does, and all the pictures that get taken, and 99% of the other things that happen is because of that.
But Joe, you ask the questions, that other people ask you to ask. You also set up the show. I mean, you are the show. Okay, if it wasn't for your edgy style, I don't think we would get the same sort of impact we do on the Huntsville Havoc Hour presented by Stockton Mortgage.
Yeah, and we're just going to forget about the Havoc game last night. How about we just forget about that one?
What was it, like 9-2?
No, shush. No, it's 7-2. 7-2. Okay.
All right.
And no, we're not talking about it. We'll talk about other things that are a lot more fun. Okay.
Well, we got Brandon on the lines.
We do. 256-576-4977. Let's go to those phone lines. Brandon, welcome in, man. How's it going?
Man, y'all had Grace on, and I thought she was going to bust out singing that song for a second. That was going to make my day.
I when the moment that John started to ask her the question, I just went, oh God, this is it. This is the moment where she's going to be like, yep, you know what? I'm done. I'm kind of done with this.
She can take it. She can take it.
The only way it would have been better is when y'all would have said shuttlecock. I'd have probably just put the Civic upside down.
Look,
ditch over here.
I was nervous just trying to repeat it one time. There's no chance I'm going to try to say it multiple times in one show.
Tried to leave those goofy words in the beginning of the show.
Oh man, when we're on a lot more caffeine.
Now y'all talk about singing and doing karaoke. What about on the Havoc Hour? You know, some of them guys have been smashed drunk and sang at a bar before.
You know, it's actually funny you bring that up, because this is going to be one of the things that I'm going to ask the guys about, because as I was walking through the hallways of the Havoc locker room, getting to my post on the bench for the games, I actually found something, and it is a picture, and I know that you really can't see it on the stream too well, because if I hold the phone up, because I wasn't prepared to actually talk about this right now, basically what the image looks like is it looks like a brick wall with just some tape on it. If you can, you kind of see what's going on right there. The reason why I bring that up, Brandon, as John literally comes in. No, I wasn't in front of it. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Now we go. Okay, wait, there it is right there. Okay. And it reads Benito's Karaoke Corner. I want to know the answer about this. I want to know the story. I want to know why that corner. I want to know everything that comes to what is going into Benito's Karaoke Corner. So yes, we actually will talk about karaoke tonight, as a matter of fact.
I had to ask them, be like, so how many beers before you sang American Pie? 14, 16?
Yeah, okay.
That's a 3-beer song right there, Brandon. Come on now.
Well, I'm talking about the whole team, like where you sway back and forth and sing like Sweet Caroline.
Get the whole, we'll just get, what we need to do is we need to ask the question, and then we just need to start playing the song and have the entire bar itself start to sing the song together.
That would be magical.
And then John runs in and screams shuttlecock and runs out stage left. That'd be really great. Kind of like the old David Letterman when they had the guy come out and he was on fire.
Yes.
So they were paying him like $10,000, and they were like, well, hey, we could have him run out 10 times for $500 and not be on fire.
I'll be the slapstick guy,
Look, at the same time, Brandon, I'm telling you, like, people don't realize is we're in the firing zone of up there at the Zambruskis, because there were multiple times last week as we were getting the show together and we were getting everything set up that there were hockey pucks that flew up to Zambruskis because they were missing off the crossbar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So not only that, we're also in the firing zone as we're going to be doing the show tonight as well. So you really don't know what you're going to get when you're watching on WZZN TV.
I got a great question for those guys. On the ice or in the bar?
All right, so your phone broke up when you got it. All the part we got is on the ice or in the bar. So I don't know what the question was.
I said I wonder if their best fight they've been in has been on the ice or in the bar.
It's a good question. I feel like this would be an even better question back in like 2012.
Should ask this to Charlie.
Because it was, we've talked about it before. The league was more of a beer league.
It doesn't matter. Do you know how many fights this team has gotten into in like the course of the last probably 3 games?
Well, yeah.
I mean, seriously.
They put a lot of their rivals.
And speaking of Benito, he got into one yesterday.
There you go. can't stop a rowdy havoc animal, whatever he is.
Yeah, so I'm about to write that question down.
And you were talking about things to come to Huntsville. I like John's idea of bringing the race there, but because the track's so small, not all 40 cars, like we talked about on Abraham yesterday. Maybe only having 20 cars out there at a time. Run a couple heats.
Yeah,
and then
little
maybe run
duels.
15 cars. Yeah, but make it to where you can hit somebody, like Super Mario Kart-ish, not like necessarily a race, but make it a little more enduro where you're going to have to feel it a little bit to get to the end.
So you just want a rally. You just want a wreck rally. Like, what are those called?
You talking about a demolition rally?
Demolition derby. There you go.
Demolition derby.
Well, I just want the car to be tough enough that you can beat and bang a little bit.
Yeah.
And it not totally. Not necessarily like a full-on demo derby, but you can run and go up the side of somebody and not tear the entire quarter panel off of it or warp it. Make it a little bit tougher to where they can go. But I think that would be pretty good. And then the Rock the South that they've got that's going to be in Coleman, man, wouldn't that be nice at that pretty Orion Amphitheater?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it would. But at the
That
same
place is
time,
pretty.
I just want, because last year I feel like we tried to do that whole festival down at, where was it, John Hunt Park, or was somewhere like that?
Yeah.
And it ended up getting rained out. So like a majority of it did. And I think they actually just canceled it altogether. But like that, if they could execute this correctly going into this year, I would absolutely love that, because that would be amazing to just walk outside of my house and then just hear it far off in the distance, or actually go to the event itself and enjoy it the same way someone would enjoy a Bonnaroo type of festival. So I would like that.
I wish we could have a SEC Badman contest, show up and fight for your school.
Oh, that could be deadly. Somebody getting murdered. I mean, somebody's dying.
I'm talking about, the helmet and the, heavy glove, but still though, that'd be.
Now you say it, and I'm sitting here thinking like American Gladiators is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, something like that. You can do something like that.
To just have the Alabama and Georgia be the American Gladiators, and everybody else has to go up against them because it's like it is in football season.
Oh no, we'll take them all. We'll take some HBCUs, Jack State. Tell the people from Birmingham, Montgomery to leave the guns at home. So
it's got to be a fair fight.
That would be some good stuff. So, well, gentlemen, it's been great. I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit of that Havoc Hour tonight and see if Joe can get some of these guys to sing sober. Might be his finest work. So,
look, thank you. And I mean, no promises. I'm just, it's going to depend on who it is. The fighting question also is going to depend on who it is, because, again, somebody like D-Stu, he doesn't fight as much as Benito does. And one of those ways are Charlie Risk. Obviously he gets into a few. We've seen, obviously the defensemen, with Ryder and Palms and those guys, that's a little bit different. We've went through our defensemen. I mean, we're having a roll and a run on defensemen right now that we've had join us for the Havoc Hour. So some of these questions, if we have another defenseman on, it's going to be a good question.
I do want to shift our attention, and I do want to show off that interesting interview with Notre Dame's basketball head coach later on. But I do want to talk a little bit about some of the SEC basketball that we got coming up tonight, as well as going into tomorrow. And it's really not going down tonight, but mainly tomorrow.
Most of the SEC games are going to be happening on Wednesday.
But at the same time, there are some games that I am interested to look at, including some of the games that our listeners and watchers are interested to look at. And one of those consists of this Auburn matchup that's coming up. And I don't know which side he's really going for, but Auburn will be facing off against Arkansas. This is going to go down tomorrow, and he wants to know which way it's going to go. It comes from Jason over on Facebook. And, Joe, I'm looking at this game, and I feel like it's past the time where we could be excited about Arkansas's basketball program. Of course, if you hear it on Talking Ball, Drew makes it out like this team is dead in the water, but it's still a team that's on the rise. Obviously, John Calipari trying to get this team rolling like he was able to with Kentucky, but at the same time, might not be as good as an Auburn team, of course, especially not at home.
No, and I think that for a lot of us, it has to do more about the win against Kentucky. I think made it where a lot of fans went, wait a second.
Well, that was the start of it.
Like,
That was the start of it.
Let's pay attention to this. Like, let's just kind of, all right, let's see what's going on with this.
Yeah.
So I think that was the start of us trying to question a lot of things about the Arkansas team. I'm still not 100% comfortable with it myself, because every single time I think about Arkansas, that's the thing that pops into my mind is I don't want to see in Auburn or anybody get too comfortable in it, because Arkansas plays at Auburn, then they're going to be hosting number 15 Missouri, then they play Texas. So I'm looking and thinking to myself, okay, like this is a little bit more than what we've anticipated with Arkansas. And it may be because they've won a few games and now it's a little bit different thought process with them. I mean, they only lost to the number 8 team in the country by 8 points. Earlier in the weekend
and
on Saturday.
They're definitely not in like the pit of the SEC. I think they are solid and they're sitting right in the middle where they could destroy an LSU team. They could beat Oklahoma, even though they lost to Oklahoma earlier on. But they're a team that can challenge some of those other middle tier teams. And this is just John Calipari's first season with him. Give him a few more years, we might see this team grow a little bit more. Depends on really John Calipari and his patience with the Razorbacks. And I think, honestly, he's got plenty of it. He's probably going to end his career with him as well. So, I don't know. We might see this team build up, but I don't think it's going to be this year. I think Auburn is going to get the win at home, and then Arkansas is going to double it up and get a close matchup against Mizzou, because this one's going to be at home. But, of course, Mizzou, little on and off this season as well.
Well, and I think that you got to shut down. Basically, you're just having to shut down one guy with Arkansas. That's the biggest question mark when you're talking about Arkansas basketball and you're talking about what they're doing with Auburn is you're going in and you're thinking about a lot of the idea of them coming in with a Calipari team that does have a lot of former Kentucky players on it. Yeah. And what this team is when it comes to motivation, because now it is starting to look more and more like Kentucky when they went to Kentucky and played. A lot of that had to do with motivation and who you were playing and why the game was happening and so forth and so forth. So I'm still not going to question it out. It'll be a game that I think Auburn could probably be up by 20, and I'm still not going to feel comfortable with it, just because I'm still sitting here going, all right, so when's the run going to happen, or anything very similar to what they did with Alabama? When's that run going to happen at the end of the game?
Nah. If Auburn's up by 20, especially in the last, I would say 8-9 minutes, I think I can sit comfortably knowing that they're going to get the dub in that one. But tonight we do get Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. We should have brought something up to Grace Anello, as she is a Mississippi State graduate. On top of that, Oklahoma facing off against Florida. Nobody cares. Florida should get the dub in the hardwood swamp, which I'm just going to compare everything to football. And then also the battle of the bottom. LSU, South Carolina.
Oh,
let's break this one down like the champs that we are.
No, we're not.
Joke.
What's really important, though, is also the conversations that are happening around the SEC and the Big Ten, and the fact that they would love for conference expansion with the tournaments as far as the college football playoff. And they want more seats at the table.
They want more bids, Joe. 2 each. I think this.
No. They want 4 each.
4.
They want 4 each for the SEC and the Big Ten, and they want 2 each for the ACC and the Big 12.
This is blasphemy.
And then they want 1 for the Group of 5.
Look, I get that it means more, Joe. I truly do. All right. But I do not think this is the route that the college football playoffs needs to go down, where they automatically give bids to these teams. I think what needs to happen is we need to see the power rankings come out from the playoffs, not the AP poll, not the coaches poll, but a combination of all of these.
What?
A combination.
Okay, just first time I've ever heard it said like that.
I was going to say amalgamation, and then I was like, I'll just say combination.
No,
keep it simple for the people.
No, amalgamation would have actually been better, because I still would have asked you a question.
It would have been
a different one.
But a combination of all of these different polls, of course, have it as the playoff poll, then pick the best 14 teams to 16, and then throw them in. If there are 4 SEC teams, there you go.
Well, I think that the reason this is all happening is because you have the SEC and the Big Ten. They're meeting in New Orleans right now, or later on this week. They're going to be talking. The College Football Management Committee is scheduled to meet on the 25th in Dallas. And this is where the SEC and Big Ten are most likely going to be presenting their idea of the direction that the playoff they believe needs to go in this. But my worry is this really what's best for college football? Like I'm genuinely, and I understand, and you can ask any person in SEC. It's like, look, any team in SEC is better than any team in the Big 12. Like, I don't care if you're talking about Vandy. I don't care if you're talking about, I wouldn't normally say South Carolina in this scenario, but they were actually good. Mississippi State. I don't care who it is you want to mention.
That used to be the case.
But it worries me because I get that this is the idea, the proposal. I also worry that this is not a good thing for college football at all. No. Like, to me, it would be more important for us to get rid of any sort of preseason ranking system whatsoever. Like, I truly believe that is more of an hindrance when it comes to college football than what it really is when you're talking about the numbers of what the team should be ranked in the college football playoff. Because, look, I think that would be way more interesting if they didn't have playoff rankings and they didn't have any sort of AP rankings, or if they didn't have any coaches poll rankings and you didn't know all this stuff. So over the course of the first month of the season, you're having a real debate about who the top teams in the country are. I think that's a little bit more interesting to me, because that then also means that none of the people that are on the committee, their biasness towards the ranking that has been beside that team's name as they're playing every football game isn't already slowly been embedded into their minds.
And I understand where you're coming from. And honestly, I think it is an intriguing idea. But at the same time, the rankings have been so embedded into everybody's minds with college football, college basketball, college baseball, anything college sports. You're going to have that ranking next to the best team in the country. And I think that that's something that is going to stay. Now, the reason why we have the preseason rankings is because these rankings literally cannot go away. You can't just, it's the next season. Let's just take number one away from, I don't know, Georgia, Ohio State. Let's take it away from Ohio State. And now everybody's back at square one. You can't do that. You got to be able to keep track with all of these teams by having these rankings. Now, I will say this. There should be a time where there's just like they maybe don't push the AP poll or the rankings until week 3. And that's when they start implementing it a little bit more, even though week 3 usually not into SEC play just yet. But hopefully it does shift, because that's a main reason to why the SEC wants to do what they're doing, getting 4 bids in, so they can also add on to their SEC schedule from 8 to 9. Still ridiculous to me. But Joe, I'll say this. Only conference that should get an automatic bid are the conferences in the group of 5. Those are the only conferences that should get an automatic bid. I think there should be 2 that get in. Outside of that, I think it should be the rankings up until 14, and then the 15 and 16 could be the Boise States and could be the New Mexicos or whoever they want. That's what I'm thinking. I fix college football. Thank you very much.
And look, we all have opinions on where we think that this should go. And I think that there are thoughts that I have when it comes to this SEC Big Ten thing is like, look, if they get their way with this is very similar to any sort of company. Whenever somebody gets 51% of ownership, that now you have given 8 of the 14 bids, if it goes to 14, or 8 of the 16 bids to the SEC and the Big Ten, they now basically control college football and what decisions should be made, because now they have the majority of what's important, and that is the automatic bids into this. Because the other part is the amount of money that will go into and the amount of money that each one of these teams make whenever they advance to the next round. Well, if you have 4 AQs for both of these conferences, and they're more likely to get even more money, which then puts the other conferences in even further behind when it comes to benefiting from this. So I personally don't think that this is the final one. I think that honestly what this is, I think this is the SEC and the Big Ten. This is the floater idea that they kind of wanted to get out to the media to see what the reaction would be. And the real ideas that they have, they're not going to really present until February 25th.
Well, and this, I'll also say this is like the highball. This is what they want to throw out there. And then it's like, oh, well, we'll talk you down a little bit.
Well, yeah, because also as part of this is you have you would have 8 of the 16. Let's just say it goes to 16. You have 8 of the 16,
half.
And then the conferences themselves won't even have half the vote on anything because you still have to include Notre Dame and everything. And so now it is the 2 conferences that would have the power over everybody when it comes to control of the college football playoff. So is this actually good for college football? Is this what's best for college football? Because this to me sounds like just another step towards the evolution of college football being destroyed and we going to an SEC and Big Ten being your NFC and AFC.
Yeah.
Because that's basically where this is now kind of slowly heading.
And those 8 automatic bids to those 2 conferences instantly, just like that, $100 million plus.
Absolutely.
Just like that.
And it also improves their television rights, which then gets them even more money, which is part of the reason behind this. And the whole concept of them getting the 8 bids, I get that they want to say, look, our South Carolina would have beat SMU. Our South Carolina would have beat Boise State. Like those would have been the discussions that would have been had. Like, oh, well, you saw Texas beat Arizona State in a shootout. Well, just think about if we'd had a couple other teams in there, Arizona State wouldn't even made it that far. Like those are the conversations that are being had. I don't know that this is, to me, not good for college football at all.
I agree.
This is a horrible idea for the SEC and the Big Ten to take over, because if we are going in the direction that everybody is eventually going to be an SEC or a Big Ten, like it is, the man in the high tower where, USA's been split up between, the Nazis and the Japanese. Like if that, by the way, it's a great show on Prime. Just watch it. This is what I'm referencing right now. It's basically what we're deciding is are we just going to go ahead and make all the teams in the North Big Ten teams and all the teams in the South are going to be SEC teams? Like that's kind of what this is slowly turning into. And then we have a whole new problem on our hands because the 14 or the 16 team playoff that we're discussing right now, that is now totally invalid. And we have to come up with an even newer playoff plan, because now there wouldn't be any ACC or Big 12 or any other conference or G5 or whatever.
You can't run it like the NFL. There's 32 teams compared to 135 plus.
Well, look, there are things that need to be ran like the NFL.
Similar, yes.
There are things about it. There absolutely needs to be some sort of a salary cap.
But ever since the playoffs have come into play, that instantly made it think that everything can be like the NFL. It is college football. There's bands. There's less cheerleaders. We've got mascots for every single team. This is different from the NFL.
And there's some things that they've tried to be different from the NFL. You know how I feel about the bowl sites being a part of this. But there are other things with salary cap needs to be done. That needs to be discussed. You absolutely need to discuss bowls and what the future is of the bowl system. Because the other part.
You also can't make trades.
Well, no, you can't make trades. But the other part of this is that if you are talking about this amount of money that is going to start coming in from the playoffs, you can also now weigh the pros and cons of some bowl games because of the number and the amount of money that they do or don't bring in.
Yeah.
Because now, if you're making the money up with the college football playoff and you're making all this money, you now don't need the cheddar cheese bowl and down in nowhere, Indiana happening. Like totally made up everything on that. But you see what I'm saying? And now it's well, wait a second. We're making more money off this bowl game or more money off this college football playoff than what we are on this bowl game. There's no reason for us to utilize this anymore because nobody cares even more about that sort of stuff. And the money, we're making more money from this. So why do we need that anymore?
Yeah.
And so now you start to contract a lot of these bowl games, and then maybe you do move the bowls to part of the new quote unquote bowl system and utilize those as part of the new bowl system that may need to be created altogether.
There's a lot to be figured out within college football, and we'll be figuring out more and more as we get through this off season. You're going to want to keep it with 97.7 ESPN The Zone, as we have plenty of programming that might explain it in a way that you might understand a little bit better, or you might not. But regardless of that, you're going to want to keep it dialed in as we head to break, because I do want to play Coach Shrewsbury's comments from that loss against Louisville. And on top of that, 256-576-97.7 to get in on the show. Before we head out of here on a Tuesday on 97.7, ESPN, The Zone, and WZZN TV.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
So I just got a text message. It says, breaking news. Donald Trump is sending Elon and Dodge to the college football playoff negotiations to determine automatic qualifiers because they know more about college football than anyone.
Golly.
Oh, yeah, that's the reaction to the idea of having 4 SEC and 4 Big Ten automatic qualifiers and what could be the new pitch to the college football playoff committee management's team whenever they meet down in February 25th in Dallas. John, what is on my screen right now?
I just
on the
want,
screen for
you know, I was
WZZN
gonna play the entire thing, but I think I'll just go to the very end.
Or when we're winning, because we're turning this around, man. You better believe that. Everybody that gave up on me, believe it.
Yeah.
Write this date down and believe it.
Yeah.
We're gonna get this thing rolling. I don't care if you gave up on me or not.
Whoa, you're scary.
Scary.
Yes, feisty. And of course, if you guys didn't know who that was Coach Micah Shrewsbury with Notre Dame. The team has not been good, Joe. It is not. For the last 2 years, ever since he took over, they have been sub 500,
13-20, and they're 11-14 right now.
And it's just tough. I mean, they lost to Miami, a team that I've talked many times about that is absolutely terrible. And this is from the ACC of basketball. Unlike in football, Notre Dame has a home, and it is within the ACC, which is just bloody awful.
Bloody awful.
Duke, Clemson, and Louisville round out the top 3 of the ACC. Sitting at decent records, but then right after Louisville, you get to Wake Forest, 19-7 overall, 19-6 for SMU, and then UNC is 15-11. Like, it gets really bad, and it's kind of sad to see. I don't care though. SEC means more.
Tom Abraham coming up at noon at 3:00 over on the Charger Zone. You are going to have UAH softball as they host North Georgia at Toyota Field. And also the drive tonight at 5:00 with Wes and Steve. Make sure that you continue listening to 97.7 ESPN, The Zone, and The Blitz. We will see you tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. John, say something.
No.
Okay.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain. Every game, all season, right here on your home for Alabama basketball, the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Been thinking about what